Dear friends, timeless tales, that is the most precious gift that each of us can give to life. In the hustle and bustle of life, there are times when we forget that the most beautiful thing is not the great things we achieve, but the small loves we share every day. Who would have thought a bride, so young and full of life, with eyes still glittering from her wedding night, would wake up just 3 days later, muttering to herself, pale as a ghost, and drenched in well water? She had never gone near the well. That well had been sealed shut with rusted chains and concrete since before she was born. The elders said it wasn't just a well, it was a grave, a prison, a mouth that once swallowed a pregnant woman whole. And every year since, on the third night of a new bride's arrival, someone said they heard a baby crying from deep underground. But of course, no one believed it anymore. Ghost stories were for children and tourists. At least, that's what they said, until she came. Her name was Lynn. 22, soft-spoken, raised in the city. She had a strange kind of beauty, not the kind that blinds a room, but the kind that whispers at the edge of your eye. Her smile was gentle, her voice barely above a breath, and when she married Min, the eldest son of the Tran family, everyone said she brought new spring into the old ancestral home. The wedding was small, rural, traditional. It ended with laughter, firecrackers, and enough rice wine to drown a buffalo. Everyone seemed happy, except the family's grandmother. Bougainvillea had been silent the whole evening, her eyes never leaving Lynn's hands. When asked why she looked so serious, she only said, "Her fingers are too long," like someone who's crawled out of something she shouldn't. People laughed, old folks and their superstitions. But the night Lynn moved in, it rained. Not a soft blessing from the sky, but a storm so hard it cracked 2 bamboo rafters. The wind shrieked like a woman in labor, and lightning split the sky wide open. Some said it was just coincidence. Others remembered what happened to the last bride that moved into that house. 3 days later, Lynn stopped talking. Not out of anger, not out of fear. She just stared, sometimes at the walls, sometimes at nothing, and once, just once, at the well. She stood barefoot in the mud before sunrise, nightgown soaked, hair dripping as though she had climbed out of a river. Her eyes were wide open, her lips moved silently, and when Min touched her shoulder, she whispered, "She's cold down there." He didn't understand. Who's cold? She didn't answer. She just turned and walked back inside, water still pooling beneath her with each step. That's when the nightmares began. Lynn would wake up gasping, clutching her stomach. Her fingernails dug into her own flesh, and she'd scream about drowning, about tiny hands grabbing at her ankles. One night, she looked at Min and said, "Why didn't you pull me out? I was screaming for you." He tried everything, took her to doctors, priests, even brought her mother from the city. But no one could explain why a healthy woman, newly married, who hadn't even touched her husband in weeks, was starting to show signs of pregnancy. The village whispered. Whispers always begin softly, like fog creeping through trees, but soon, they choke everything. Maybe she's just mad. Or maybe he married a girl already carrying another man's child. Maybe it's the spirit from the well. You remember what happened in '83. But the whispers weren't as loud as the cries. Not Lynn's, but a baby's. It started just after midnight. First, Min heard it faintly, like a kitten lost in the rain. But as the nights went on, it grew stronger. A baby wailing, coming from the corner of their room, then from the garden, then from the old well. Min tried to record it. Nothing. He called his uncle, who came to listen. The sound disappeared. But when Lynn heard it, her hands would shake. Her lips would curl into a smile not her own. She said, she misses her baby. Who was she? Min begged his grandmother for answers. He said he didn't care if it was superstition or truth. He just wanted to protect his wife. That's when Bougainvillea, the one who never spoke of the past, looked him dead in the eyes and asked, "Did your father ever tell you what your great-grandfather did during the famine?" Min didn't respond. The old woman lit incense. Her hands trembled. "Your great-grandfather killed a woman, a pregnant girl, pushed her down that well because she wouldn't give up the land. She screamed until the water swallowed her. And that well, it hasn't held clean water since. Only blood." Min shook his head. "That's not possible." It was 1932. No police. No witnesses. Just silence. And every daughter that walks into this house, she finds a dream. Min couldn't breathe. And if the child is born again, she whispered, then the curse won't need another body. But Lynn was already changing. Her belly grew. Her eyes darkened. And every night, she slept with her hands over her womb, smiling. The doctor said it was impossible. No fetus. No heartbeat. Just water in the uterus. They called it phantom pregnancy. But Min knew better, because one night, when he tried to hold her, she grabbed his wrist and said in a voice that was not hers, "Don't touch me. He's not your son." And the well began to weep again.